Before we jump into it, if you're looking to see some change in your physique and you're tired of where you're at, you're in this awkward stage where you have a little bit of fat, not enough muscle, and you're like, I need to just change everything here. I need to lose some fat. I need to gain some muscle. What you need is a body recomp. If you're looking to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, the goal is to change your body recomposition by actually adding shape to your body, by adding new muscle and strength, and removing unwanted fat so you can really start to see your physique take its form. We're running a special promo for body recomp. We have 4 more spots available past what we had Monday. So this is your chance if you're ready to see significant change, have your clothes fit you how you've always wanted, and end this nonsense of feeling stuck in your journey. We promise you we will get you there. So if your goal is to lose 20 plus pounds of fat and replace that with 10 pounds of new muscle and radically change your physique, your mindset, and reach your full potential, this is your chance. DM us on Instagram, the keyword body recomp. We will take care of you. I will give you the exact instructions, one-on-one coaching, and support you need to see this through in a healthy and sustainable way. And the best part is it's not going to take all your time. You're not going to need any unrealistic supplements. I'm going to just show you the high-level strategies and systems to make this part of your life so you don't only see results now, but so that you see them for the rest of your life. So once again, to take advantage of this incredible offer, DM me on Instagram, Body Recomp. Now into the episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I am your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And I hyped up this episode on Monday. So if you were getting pumped for this from Monday, welcome. It's already Thursday. We got a banger film for you today. And I just thought, wow, I've been lifting for well over 10 years now. And it's real easy to accept things as status quo and perhaps not to challenge some of these underlying things we do. And me and Kyle love giving you tips and tricks and things you need to start doing, habits to build. So instead I thought, what are some fitness and health habits you need to break? And I just want to say, you're going to be surprised by some of these, especially number 8. I think that one's really going to shake you up. So make sure to stay tuned till the end. But once again, I'm going to start this off with the first one. And this is one I challenged in my own life, and that is pre-workout. I love caffeine. Caffeine is the one addiction I will outwardly say I have. It's something that I would have a very hard time getting rid of. We did a no caffeine challenge for a week, and it kind of nuked me. And caffeine is one of these weird things where it's not necessarily bad for you. Caffeine can actually be shown to have a lot of benefits, a lot of performance benefits, a lot of cognitive benefits, especially coffee. So it's something I don't see as a big issue. Where it becomes an issue is when you're having too much caffeine. For me personally, I find it gets really messy around past 500 milligrams of caffeine. That's where I start to feel a little bit more jittery. It can impact my sleep a bit, and it can always be a bit of an effect. And I've always been good in the sense that I'll cut my caffeine off by 1 p.m., be really consistent with it. I really aim to not let it affect my sleep, and it's phenomenal. But I just realized I'm always using pre-workout. Before I would use pre-workout just for a day, I wanted that extra push. I needed that extra motivation, but it was just something I was doing mindlessly every single day. I was just taking a pre, and I kind of needed that to operate. And I'd be like, that's the only reason I lift in the morning. And I thought, for fun, I'm big on this. I'm going to do no pre-workout for a week. I did it, and I found I adjusted out pretty good. And I found my workouts actually were almost a little bit better because I was really level through each workout. And then the odd time I'd have a horrible sleep or something like that, I do an energy drink, but I do this so rarely. And in general, I like a morning coffee and a 1 p.m. type coffee when I'm working with Kyle. We got a massive Starbucks today. I had a really small coffee. So this alone is pretty dense. But once again, I try to be in that threshold of 200 to 400 milligrams. That's where I find I feel best. So challenging this, I realized, wow, I don't need this. I save a bit of money. I'm still performing extraordinarily well. And it's just one of those things where you want to analyze, do I need it all the time? And you can save it as that extra boost. And I've been trying it here and there as when I want to get really fired up. And I kind of realized, I don't necessarily want this feeling anymore. Also in the past, I've had beta alanine. And I find challenging these things you do regularly is such a benefit because maybe I'll go back to it in a bit. We'll see. But taking these breaks and not just saying I'm going to keep doing this for the next 40 years of my life is an absolute fantastic opportunity, especially if you like coffee and stuff, because having too much caffeine can lead to a lot of anxiety, irritation, and lack of sleep, as I said. So it's not to say pre-workout's bad. I'm not saying that at all. It's just this is an opportunity for you to maybe analyze your consumption. And I just think that's a pretty exciting one. Anything to add there?
Yeah, I just think not needing it each time has been so game-changing for me. When Josh did the challenge, I also joined in as well a little bit afterwards. It took me a while to give in and say, you know what, I'm going to try it. But now I only use it on the days where I'm like, hey, insane leg day, like I need this, or a bad night's sleep, or whatever it is. Even recently, someone asked me, they're like, hey, I'm going to the gym at like 7 p.m. Like, is it bad to have it? Like I use it. And then like, they don't realize like how much it can actually bring yourself down. So I challenge them to say, hey, try to get rid of it. Like, you don't need it. I know it's been a long day of work, but like, you'll be much happier in the long run to just say, hey, I'll maybe, just drink some water and go from there. But anyways, that's my thought there.
Yeah, and perhaps if you're like, I don't want to fully give it up, I find like bringing that tolerance down every month to 3 months is fantastic. Like how it works, usually you start with a scoop, you end up with 2 scoops, you buy a more intense one. Before you know it, you're having 400 or 500 milligrams a session just from pre. Like a good way is to bring that tolerance down, take it down to 0, take it down to 1 scoop, give yourself some time to reset, and just a quick thing you can do. I find that's a good little benefit. The next one I have, and this is one I'm super passionate about, and this is over-reliance on warm-ups, needing certain machines, certain shoes, certain equipment. So warm-ups, first and foremost, warm-ups are a fantastic tool that are designed to help prevent injury, to get you moving, to get you in a great place. But it's real easy to psychologically have these beliefs where it's like, hey, if I don't do this thing, I'm going to injure myself. If I don't do this thing, my workout's going to suck. And it's real easy to fall in these traps where you're warming up for 20, 30 minutes. And I think it was incredibly well said. Me and Kyle did a pretty high-level certification. It's called Darby Training Systems. They're pretty much the gold standard. And he had a really great point. He said he lives an active and healthy lifestyle. He's consistent with his warm-up so that the days he's in more of a rush, he doesn't need to warm up, and his body's in the best position to operate with still a great intention. And of course, warming up's better for you. You should always need to. But I know some people will be so particular and not deviate from these routines. And it's real easy when you live for too long to get in some really funky, odd situations of what you need to do. And I catch myself with this. I really like certain bars, especially as I got into powerlifting. Even today, like I wanted to get a little whiny in my brain because there's one bar I like at my gym that has center knurling. It's the only one in the entire gym. So if you think of a barbell, usually you'll put your hands on the left and right side of the knurling, but oftentimes there's some with center knurling. And the benefit of that is on your shirt, it's going to grip into your back a bit more, and it's going to prevent that bar rolling. And I've gotten a little bit loose in my squats previously and had that bar roll, and I've hurt myself because of it. And it's not something I enjoy. So I prefer to use a barbell with knurling. That wasn't available today. I could cry about it, and I could do one of 3 things. I could say, I'm skipping squats, my bar is not available. Oops, too bad. And this is a very low level mindset to have, but it's easy to have after a while. The other thing I could do is say, I'm going to wait for this guy. And I could be waiting 10, 20, 30 minutes, nuke my workout intensity, lose the rack I'm going to use, complain about the day. It's not going to get me anywhere. In general, I can get that bar. Today I couldn't. So I said, this is a fantastic opportunity for me to be very aware of my bracing, to really work on my form, to say I might not have that, but I'm going to get really tight under that bar. I'm going to brace my abs. I'm going to be aware of that. So even if there's certain benches you like, certain equipment, like you need to be somewhat adaptable, because or else you're just going to get sour. It's going to ruin your mood. We've had opportunities where we forgot our belts, more of an opportunity to brace. We forgot our knee sleeves. Like, you need to learn to work with these things, and you can't be all or nothing. So this is something I'm really passionate about. And like I said, maybe there's a day you're in a crunch, you got 45 minutes. It needs to be a quick little warm up. You can't do your 30 minutes of animal flow and your 30 minutes of foam rolling, but you need to get in there and get it done.
Foam rolling was the exact thing I was thinking about there, because I remember when we used to, train in a gym, and there'd just be everyone who'd come in and just roll around on the ground for like 30 minutes beforehand. And it's like, once again, not bad to utilize some specific things. It is definitely good to be able to bring it down a notch. And even yesterday, deadlifting, I was like, I forgot my gym bag at the door. I literally brought it. I was like, hey, someone asked me for something. It slipped my mind. And so I was like, you know what? I'm still going to get it done. And because I've done so many things like over time, like to build up and to just like navigate no matter what, it's nice to not like rely on something. I think that's my biggest thing, is like, it sucks when you need that thing. Like even an Apple Watch, for example, when I used to like be so obsessed with it that I'm like, if I don't have it, like I don't want to work out. It's a weird thing, but trying to break these beliefs that you have, especially if you may be obsessed with some things or you're, used to it, it's a great thing to switch out. But number three, this one is probably the most important one to me, and I have to have this talk with a lot of people. It's just that all or nothing mindset, especially on the weekends. I know a lot of times people will do things only when it's a perfect situation. They'll log their calories only when they know exactly what they're having. They'll work out only when they have the exact time frame that they usually have to work out. And this is killing your results. Like, I see it holding back so many people who want better, who are striving for more, and they'll only do it when it's amazing. And even just, some people, they'll fill out their spreadsheet or check in only when they have the greatest week. And I always have to encourage clients and even just people who are wanting to get better, like, hey, reach out to me and still touch base. Even if it's not a perfect week, we can find ways to work around that. So it's something I've had to have conversations over the years to help people break through those mindset plateaus that they're having. But that to me is probably one of the most important things that you need to get rid of. It's that all or nothing mindset. And even just demonizing foods. Like, if you're sitting there, if you're pinpointing those things that you think just are the most horrible things for you, and you're just putting it down and you think about it a ton, and it's not the way to do it. I find that when you go down that route, it can be a bit of a tricky one. I know that there's a lot of foods that are great for me. I know there's foods that exactly maybe aren't the best. Sometimes I'll even incorporate those things that I know aren't adding as much value, but they're kind of helping me with my long-term approach in terms of just having a bit of a fun food or having something I was craving or wanted to try. And so I think that the day I started not putting labels on foods, but more so just thinking like, what's a healthy food? What's going to be maybe not as healthy, but just kind of keeping it a bit of a loose structure versus like, you can't have this, like, I'm never gonna have this. I know sometimes when people do that and they put it off limits, they crave it more, they binge on it more, and it's not a healthy relationship with food. So stop demonizing foods. I know some people out there on Instagram that's their main brand, is just going down a grocery store and just like, never have this, and like, that's just what they do. But I'm definitely not a fan of that.
Yeah, balance is everything. And it's easy to get in habits. Like, even me, there's some foods I'm like, oh, I would never eat that. But it's like, also, if you enjoy it, like, work it in. That's where the 80-20 is for. And I think having this balance really can work against creating really bad stigmas towards certain foods, or creating eating disorders, or whatever it may be. And really learning like that balance of like, hey, if Kyle likes ice cream, he'll fit it in. If I like having, I don't know, whatever, some salty food, you can fit it in. Like, you're like, oh, I love having chips with a movie every odd time. It's like, you have 80-20 for a reason. Eat really good foods, fit that in, show yourself you can have balance. Because these people that are like all clean all the time, like, you shouldn't be eating this, are the same people that when they go off the rails, they go off the rails hard. And that's where it's such a dangerous mentality, because it's like, and then you feel such guilt and remorse. It's like, food is just part of your life. You need to make it work. And this is a real big one, because it's real easy to get these crazy opinions about it. And I find even just challenging your mindset towards it is good. Like, there are things I personally would never care to have. Like, a full sugary pop is just something that, for me, I don't see any utility. But if like that's your favorite thing in the world, is it good for you? Absolutely not. Is it going to kill you in moderation? No. And that's where these balances are good. And I think it's healthier also to find healthy substitutes past it. And that's one thing I personally love to do. Like, I'll eat mini pizzas all the time, because I'll just make these really high protein little mini pizza hacks that are like a workaround towards normal pizza. I have like a really quality top sirloin burger with a really smaller bun, and I'm able to fit that in more frequently. Like, you can still have all these fun hacks. Like, you can make really healthy like chicken pad thai at home. Like, there are cool ways to navigate it, and you can approach that how you like. But that's just such a big one. That's something I want to be aware of. Number 5 is a bit of an obvious one, but it's neglecting sleep and recovery. If you're working really hard, you're doing a million things, and you put no effort into this, you are going to feel the effects, because sleep recovery are just so big. And it's real easy to think, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to be tough. I'm going to out-train it. But these are things you need to put effort in regardless of your situation. Even an example of if you have kids, like, and if they have a bedtime, that's way easier, obviously, because you can control that if they don't. But it's up to you to be on top of your game outside of the things with the kids. Like, my children don't affect me having coffee. I mean, I suppose the days they wake me up extraordinarily early, I'm more tempted to have a little bit more. But in general, I have that caffeine cutoff time. as I was talking about earlier, and that's something that helps me fall asleep earlier. If I know there's a chance to wake up early because they're sick, it's up to me to get to bed earlier, to not have a big meal before I sleep. And like, you need to be on top of these things, and sleep and recovery is very much something you need to be attentive of. And I think just saying, oh, I'll figure it out is not a great solution. Like, you do need to be mindful to work in these things.
Absolutely. And number 6 is just going to be simply crutching protein and protein supplements. So this is a bit of an interesting one because I think protein, you must hit. Like it's an absolute requirement if you want to get to the next level. But I've seen a lot of different people kind of crutching on, especially those supplements. And I've had so many different examples where I've just tried to kind of take a look at people's MyFitnessPals, kind of see where, maybe they could improve their quality food, all this other stuff. I've had, some people, for example, I remember one guy specifically would have about 4 scoops of protein a day. And, essentially when it came down to it, he was hitting his protein, right? But when I took a deeper look, there was just less quality food. It was just less whole meals, less healthy whole foods, like all that other stuff. And I think that a lot of times, when it comes to like protein bars or protein chips, like just those, random things that are just easier to grab than actually like cooking or like getting a whole meal. You're hitting your protein, but you're going to be less satisfied. There's obviously going to be more, just ingredients and everything within all that stuff. It's not going to be as nutritious, of course, as well. So there's a lot of things to kind of consider within that. And I know it's an easier kind of / also lazy approach if you're just at work and you're like, hey, I'm just going to grab a protein bar. Like, once again, not a big deal. And it's not something that, I want to kind of put down, especially when it comes to people who are actively trying to hit their protein intake. But I know that I've been guilty of this where I just would have so many supplements because it was easy on a day where I didn't have groceries or where I didn't properly prepare or whatever it is. It's just important to remember that nothing beats healthy whole food in terms of satiety, macronutrients, micronutrients, and all that great stuff.
Yeah, this is a big one, and it's easy to crutch in on it and just, I'm gonna have a scoop protein, hit my protein. I'm gonna have a Quest chip, I'm gonna have whatever. But you can really get a lot from whole food sources, and I find really finding ways to do that is just going to make you feel a little bit better. Obviously, variety is powerful when it comes to the diet, and it's not to say that these things are inherently bad once again, but creating some balance here is so phenomenal. The next one for me is lifting with too great form or too bad form. So I find people go super to one side of the spectrum or the other, but I would argue you should really teeter between the two. And what I mean by this is have a season where you really work on perfecting your form. You really try to get to those slow negatives, really get great contractions, really great form, really feeling the burn. Lean into that. The problem when you go too into that school of thought is it's very hard to increase your weights, and it's easy to decrease your weights and say, I'm just getting more of a pump. And that's where you can end up leaving more in the tank. On the flip side, if you're just being a bro and you're giving her and you're swinging it out, it's really hard to have any standard of quality. I love the example of why I touch and pause on the bench press because it's consistent. I know it's a full rep. The issue with not touching your chest on a bench press is I could go an inch, I could go 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. These are all very different. And as the weights gets heavier, your body's smart. It's going to cheat. It's going to do it less efficiently. So what I like to do is have a period of time where you work on your form, really try to do the heavy weights you're doing with great form, still try to improve them, and then be a little bit looser with it for a bit. I'm not saying to be a hoo-ha, but I'm saying try to have some oomph to it. Try to train a little bit heavier. Kyle's in a bulk. He has the opportunity to really push himself. And obviously he has the experience to do it to where he won't get hurt. But you don't want to fall on either side of these spectrums too crazy, like the train insane, remain the same, just have horrible form, or the perfect form, I never lift heavy. Be somewhere in between and teeter between the two. Have a little bit of experience with both. And I find that's how you'll get the best results.
And next up, this one is one of my personal favorites. This is something a lot of people make a mistake of, is just treating it as a chore, not having something to look forward to. I know this because I've been there. I used to go to the gym with not much to look forward to, just thinking I have to get it done. And those were always the worst workouts. Those were the workouts where I wouldn't push myself. And I see so many people going down this rabbit hole. And honestly, one of the best ways to break this and the easiest solution is sitting down with yourself, your friends, people around you, whatever it is, and find something to look forward to. Try to set some goals you want to hit, some new personal records, challenge someone in the gym, do some sort of push-up competition, bench press competition, powerlifting meet, physique competition, whatever it is. When it's a chore, you will hate it. You will just do the bare minimum and just what's needed to get by, and you'll find ways to skip it. You'll find reasons to complain about it, and it's just going to be boring. So find ways to spice it up. I promise you, it'll make it so much better for you.
Yeah, we've done powerlifting meets, we've done physique competitions, we've done different things where we try to put on a lot of muscle, we've done shredding phases. This is where like have something that makes it exciting to you, whether you're increasing your strength, you're bulking, you're cutting, you're trying a new form of movement. Like if you're coming in there and you're dreading it, you're just going to find you're going to chop away at it. You're going to get at it with less intensity and you're going to get less from it. And that's why I always say when you see results, you get addicted. When you train hard, it's like, oh, wow, like I'm changing. I'm feeling better. I'm getting stronger. I'm hitting that 225 bench and it makes it way more exciting. So if you find yourself falling into a rut, now is an opportunity to update your routine, to update your goals, to try a new challenge, to get a new form of accountability, to sign up for coaching. Like there's so much opportunity to build momentum out of this, and momentum is everything. And if it just becomes something you're getting done, you're going to slowly pull away from that and not see what you want to see. Number 9 is a big one too, especially for more vet lifters and even newbies as well. There's a good chance you do this. So most often people have this division where they'll either be crushing it, seeing amazing results and have no social life, or they'll have a social life and they'll have nothing going on with the gym. It's just like, oh, it's summer, I'm busy, I need to be out drinking, I need to be out eating, I don't have time to work out. And when people are in it, their friends say, hey, you want to meet up and go grab dinner? I can't have dinner. I have my chicken and broccoli at home. So instead, you need to get rid of this divide. It shouldn't be one or the other. Fitness and health needs to be integrated within your life. And if it's not integrated within your life, it's not going to work. It's going to be seasonal. It's going to be something you do when it's a perfect situation, when you only have time to go to the gym, you have to go to bed at 8 p.m. to get optimal sleep. Like you need to learn how to make these habits part of your life. And this is why myself and Kyle can still go out. We can still have fun foods. You can still, if the odd night you have to stay up, you'll live through it. It'll be okay. If you have to miss a session, you'll find a way to get it in. Like you need to have this flexibility, and it shouldn't just be either you have a social life or you have your fitness. You need to find a way to bring them together and intertwine them. And this is something I'm really big on. And this is kind of what this whole podcast is built around.
Yeah, I know a lot of people mess up with this. So definitely something to consider and make changes for as well. And, speaking of changes, number 10 is a lot of times it's easy to refuse to change your mind or update your beliefs. Obviously, us being in the fitness industry, it's something we always need to be aware of and be open-minded to just new ideas, new thoughts, all that other stuff. That's something we've made an agreement, from the start. It's like, hey, if I believe something 10 years ago, I'm more than happy to say I used to do this, but I changed my mind, coaching related, habit related, whatever it is. But I think that's something that definitely can hold people back, especially because you may not want to admit you're wrong or that you made a mistake or whatever it is. Sometimes our egos can take a hit, but this alone is a big difference and can definitely change the game for you.
Yeah, for me, I've been lifting for a long time, and if I analyze a better way to do a workout or to improve my form, I'm happy to swallow that pill and do it, because it's so easy to say, no, I know best. I've been doing this for forever. There's a reason I wear a belt all the time. And then like if science comes against it, like to me, I just want to do it as efficiently as I can. And it's so easy to have pride in your stances. If you've only ever lost weight doing keto, you're going to be a little bit more defensive around that. You're going to say, you need to do keto, but you need to challenge these things, try new things, update. Do you have a capacity to change? And like, it's just so easy to get so stuck in a mindset of what you need to do. I only see success when I don't have carbs. And these are the people that end up failing because they go back to the same thing that doesn't work. Like to me, I'm very happy to update and change my understandings of something and become better with it. So analyze what you do too and say, is there a more optimal way to do this? Is this some bro science I've been doing too long? Is this bro science I'm doing that I'm okay with doing because it works for me? Like you need to be able to analyze these things, learn from new people. I mean, you're listening to this podcast, so I know you're already good, but I do think it's really an important thing to keep in mind, because people just get so entrenched in their beliefs and they won't see progress because they won't challenge that. So that's my ask you today, is challenge that. Push yourself forward. If you want to lose fat, build muscle, hit us up. Let us do the hard work for you, give you the instructions, and see you through this so you can actually have your body recomp. To take advantage of this deal, just DM us on Instagram with the keyword body recomp, and I cannot wait to crush it together. But there you have it. There's 10 tips and habits for you to break. We sure hope you enjoyed this episode and it got you thinking today.